Hi Scorpio, this is your astrology forecast for September 2015. Thank you for joining me. It's really nice to be with you. I'm going to have a really in-depth, detailed look at what's coming up. And the first thing going on in September really is that the month starts with a lot of the planets being in the element of fire. Now, you're a water sign, and you kind of use your gut, your intuition, your feelings sometimes to guide you. And at the beginning of this month, things will seem unnecessarily chaotic to you, and you may feel like you want things to quieten down a little bit. What's going on there is that Uranus is actually connecting with your Mars in your 10th house. And what this does, it kind of makes your working life feel a little bit hectic. It's okay. I think it is hectic, but it's actually very productive. So the way to make the most out of this energy is to put yourself in a position of taking responsibility, allowing other people to look at you, allowing other people to rely on you, and getting as much done as possible. Rather than say, okay, hang on a minute, let's slow down. I'm getting really frazzled here. Engage with the process, try and align yourself with the fast pace, and I think you'll be surprised at how much you achieve. So it's actually very positive for you. Now, Mars and Uranus, they trine between the 29th of August until the 18th of September. So I think you'll feel this busyness for that whole period. And Uranus actually trines Venus at the same time for the whole month. I think if you align yourself with this process of busyness, I think you might actually quite enjoy it once you get into the swing of it. Neptune and Jupiter have also been connected, and they've been opposing each other since the 15th of August, and they will continue to oppose each other until the 14th of October. Jupiter is in your 11th house, and Neptune is in your 5th. There's a real potential for you to feel like you haven't a real sense of disappointment in terms of your romantic life. I think you may have a real dream and a vision of what you could have, but it doesn't seem to be there in a practical level in your real life. The truth here is in September that it's a great time for you actually to make that a reality. You know, if you've always wanted, if you've got a very specific idea of what you want to achieve in that area of life, then by taking practical action at the beginning of September, you can actually do it. Because Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune, and growth. And you can activate that energy by taking practical action. So join a group, go on singles, dating sites, whatever. You can achieve that. So don't, if you feel a certain element of self-pity, oh, I'm alone and I didn't get who I wanted, poor me, then don't spend too much time doing that. Just go out and meet people. It's going to be far more helpful, and I think you'll actually have success with it. Now, Mercury starts to square Pluto on the 3rd of September, and it stays in that relationship until the 30th, so all month pretty much, okay? And Mercury is in Libra in your 12th house, and that means you're actually going to communicate in quite a giving way. I think you're going to come across very nicely, and that's going to really open new doors for you when you're connecting with other people. So you can come across sometimes as quite intense, but I really think that your focus on work and your desire to have some sort of intimacy in your romantic life, that's going to make you step back a little bit and kind of humble you a little bit, and you're going to come across as much more easy to engage with. So I think you're going to come across very, very well this month. By the way, if you're in a relationship already and that's a disappointment, then you can also take practical action to get that fire, to get that romance back in the relationship if you choose. You know, Jupiter is about taking practical action to make things happen. So whatever you decide to do in that area of your life, the odds are stacked in your favor, because whatever you do will very likely have a positive outcome for you. On the 4th, your moon starts to square Jupiter and your midheaven. And that's interesting because I actually think that it's also possible for you to meet the kind of person that you want to meet through your work. And if you take practical action to ask them out, or to ask them to go for a date or a coffee or whatever, then it's very likely that that's also a positive outcome. So that's scary though. I mean, I don't think I've ever done that. someone I've worked with, asked them out. Have I ever done that? Someone asked me out once, and yeah, we went for a drink, never heard from her again after, but you know, she had guts at least, so that's good. So yeah, do that. You know, not everyone can, so if you have the ability to ask someone out there who you like, then that's brilliant. 5th of September, there's a T-square in your chart, and this is real motivation and energy. And this is between your Sun and your Jupiter, your Neptune. Okay, so it's this relationship theme again, and it apexes, it kind of culminates, it resolves itself in your 8th house of other people. What this is saying is that if you have someone that you're interested in at the moment, and if you actually take the time and effort to approach that person and to express your interest, it will have a positive outcome. Okay, so you're going to get some good results from that. So in terms of the days, really the whole beginning of September is a great time to do that. You'll have a really positive result. The best date for it is the 4th and 5th of September so far. On the 7th of September, there is a grand trine in water in your chart, and this indicates a real area of talent. You feel you're in touch with your feelings, you're able to make good decisions, and you can even see how things are going to progress in future. So there's an element of you having kind of foresight, you know, ability to look at what the future could possibly look like. So have a look around at your life, the new people who are in your life, and kind of project into the future a little bit. I don't usually advise people to do this. I advise people to stay in the present moment and to live in the now, like Eckhart Tolle says. But on this day, I actually think you might have glimpses of what the future could look like. So use that. You know, we all would want to predict the future. But if you can get these glimpses, you can use them to your advantage. And I think the 7th is great for that. Venus comes into alignment again because it's been in retrograde since the 24th of July. And it comes out of retrograde today on the 7th. So partially it could be Venus kind of presenting to you what it is you love and what you will love in future. So Venus comes back out. When Venus is in retrograde, it's very difficult to commit to things that you love and that you care about, and to express your values and beliefs. When Venus is direct again, it's much easier to connect with things in a loving, harmonious way and to have new beginnings. So enjoy that and use that added thing here of the grand trine is, okay, I've just asked someone out on a date. What's that going to look like maybe in 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now? And just have a think and see what you get from that. You might be surprised at what you get. On the 9th, the moon trines Saturn. And Saturn is in your 1st house of self. And your moon is right on top of your chart in your working sector. So, the only thing holding you back in terms of your working life is the lack of confidence you have in yourself. I think the opportunities are there for you to take if you want them. So please remember that, because sometimes we can be our worst enemy, you know? If it takes public speaking for you to progress to the next level in your job, then realize that you can do it, even if it feels uncomfortable. Do it and you can move forward, but don't blame the company or blame your circumstances for your lack of progress. I really see that with this kind of connection here, especially on the 9th, the only thing holding you back on this day is your lack of self-belief. So really bring out the positive affirmations on the 9th of September, because if there is an opportunity, you do want to rise to the occasion. The next day is an extension of that, really, because Saturn kind of puts a damper on your drive, your self-confidence, your belief in your work, and you feel a little bit restricted in that sense. So fake it till you can make it, okay? Pretend as if you don't have those feelings, because they're not really real, they're just kind of hampering you a little bit and holding you back. On the 12th, the day before the new moon, there's a lot of activity in your 11th house of social life and hopes and dreams. Your Sun, your Moon, your Jupiter, and your midheaven are sitting there in Virgo. And this is interesting because what this does is it really shines a wonderful bright light on your relationships. And again, it's a good time to plan what you want to achieve in your relationship life. So if you want children, if you want to be married, if you want a loving partner or whatever, allow yourself to dream those things. And this is a great exercise that someone actually taught me recently. Imagine yourself in the happiest place that you can possibly be. Okay? Just put yourself there right now. It's really simple. And then see yourself with the things that you want. And just see if they materialize. Don't force them. Just see if they come in. And then see what they look like and look around. And then just keep doing that. And that's a wonderful, easy, instant way to manifest things. And then with all of this activity here around the new moon, do that on the new moon and see what you get in terms of your relationship life. Are there kids running around? You know, are you getting married in a castle? Whatever. And don't even ridicule something like that if it's there, if it seems too good to be true. In spiritual truth, nothing is too good to be true. So the next day is the new moon, and that is in Virgo. So it's about being discerning, planting those seeds and watching them grow in practice in the real world, in real life. It's not just a new moon though, it's also a partial solar eclipse. So the sun is kind of blocked out partially by this new moon. And that is on the North Node, which is about bringing information in. So you're going to have harmonious, loving ideas that can actually make your life better in future. So do plant those seeds of intention. They will help your life improve. If you're wondering, by the way, if you can actually see this eclipse, you can if you're in South Africa and Southern Africa. That's the only place you can see it. It won't be anywhere else. Now, the next day on the 14th, we've got Mercury in Libra. Oh yes, and Mercury is in Libra all month for you. And it's in your 12th house. So there is a great connection for you to understand what will bring more harmony into your life. And you really are identifying that and noticing it for the first time, really, this month. Or not really the first time this month, but the last couple of days have been like, yes, this is what would make me happy. And I don't think that's always been there. I think there's been less certainty around things like that. Okay. The next day sees Saturn squaring your Mars, okay? And Mars is the warrior planet of desire, what you want to achieve, and that's in your 10th house of career. So there's a real drive and ambition to succeed. But I touched on that Saturn earlier as well. It's like it puts a brake on that, and you're coming against things within yourself which you feel you can't overcome. And that's a continual theme for you this month. There isn't really anything holding you back. You know, it's not that your boss doesn't like you and is actively causing you to do jobs that are beneath you, or that the company has to cut back and there are no other opportunities. The thing really holding you back is your sense of limitation within yourself. Please reevaluate that, use the affirmations. You can really achieve anything you want, but you've got to believe it first to be able to actually apply yourself to doing it. On the 17th, the moon actually sextiles Jupiter and Mercury and your Pluto, and this is a great time to fulfill your hopes and dreams by communicating honestly and by seeing what your real potential is. So it may be that on the 15th you do have a disappointment and you say, okay, I didn't seize that opportunity because I didn't think I could do it. And then 2 days later you say, well, hang on a minute, could I have actually done that? And that will clarify in your mind that it is just you holding yourself back. So give yourself that boost, give yourself that push, and allow yourself to speak honestly and to take on things that you think may even be a little bit out of your reach. So if anything, bite off more than you can chew in September, Scorpio, okay? Because you can do it, and the likelihood and your tendency is going to be to bite off less than you can chew, if that makes sense. Now, on the 18th, Saturn goes into Sagittarius, and this is quite a significant move because Saturn is one of the outer planets and it moves very, very slowly. It will stay in Sagittarius now until December 2017. And Sagittarius makes you scrutinize certain things. Now, when it's in Sagittarius, it makes you scrutinize the direction you're going in and what you're focused on. And it's in your second house of finance and belongings. So you're going to be questioning how you make your money, what your physical life is going to be like, and whether you're on the right track. Now, combined with what we've looked at before, looking at your own potential and realizing you can do more, if you extend yourself, could your financial circumstances look better? Could you be more successful? You're going to be asking yourself those questions. Please don't get all critical on yourself and say, oh, you see, if you were better at public speaking, you could have more money. Don't do that, but just say, I've tried my best so far to get to where I am. How can I improve things in future? And what are things about me that I can improve so that my finances and my career success could look even better? And if that's a total change of jobs, then consider that. If it's altering a certain behavior at work, then look at that. But it's actually very good because Saturn asks the tough questions. And now it's going to ask you the tough questions about the income you bring home. And when you're done with that questioning period, you're going to be in a much better position because no one likes to be asked, that bluntly about, is this really the best you could do? Everyone is going to say, well, actually I can do much better, so it's a kind of motivating energy that's going to really put you in a much better position. On the 20th, the moon starts to square Chiron, and Chiron's in your 5th, the moon's in your 2nd. Okay, so I think you may feel a certain sense of disappointment about where you are with your life. Again, you've done the best you can, don't get critical on yourself, and use that Virgo energy that you've got and put practical things in place and say, this is where I want to be in 2 years' time and this is what I'm going to do. Rather than wallowing in, oh, I didn't do it in the past. The past is done, you can't change it. There's also a grand trine in fire on that day, and it's almost like a cleansing. Fire can often burn away things and just reduce them to ash, and you can really reduce that tendency to feel negative about the past. You can burn that away and cleanse it and be done with it once and for all. On the 22nd, there's another T-square, so more motivation, which is good. About this. Okay, so this is telling me this like a story now, okay? So on the 20th, you may feel a little bit of disappointment, clear that out. I think you'll do that. By the time the 22nd swings back, you'll have a second wind and you'll say, okay, I'm done with the past now, how am I going to make this happen? How can I be myself? How can I make my life fit my purposes and my needs more closely? What can I communicate? How can I work with others to achieve this? And how is that going to take on new form in my practical circumstances? So I think you're going to be really, really proactive, productive, and in a constructive frame of mind around the 22nd. On the 24th, the moon starts to quincux Jupiter, and this is really right. Your hopes and dreams now, in terms of your work, you really open those up and you look at them again in the hope of solidifying them and making them a reality in your life. The next day, Mars goes into Virgo in your 11th house. Now this is very helpful because Mars is the soldier, the warrior planet, remember? And he's been in a square position with Saturn, so arguing a little bit. But Virgo is really a very dry, very analytical sign, and Virgo doesn't really mess around, okay? So you've struggled a little bit with your own limitations, but Virgo is going to say, well, is that true or not? Like the work of Byron Katie. Is it true? And it's just going to say either yes or no, and if it's not true, then you're going to throw it out. So you're going to get much more clear in terms of who you are and what your abilities are, and you're going to, by the end of this month, have much more faith in yourself, and you're going to have a much clearer picture of what you can actually do than you did at the beginning of this month. That is hugely self-empowering, because if I know what I can do and who I am, then I can actually take action on that. If I have no idea, I can't do much, okay? So this isn't really necessarily the easiest month for you, but it's a month when you can really discover your own unique gifts and talents. On the 28th, there is a total lunar eclipse, and there's also a full moon in Aries. Okay, so the full moon is always a time of blossoming, and this is wonderful because the blossoming is in your 6th house of day-to-day routine, so you're going to make some decisions around your work and really what direction you're going to take this in. And then the eclipse is on the south node, which allows you to detox and let go of things. So you're going to detox the things you're no longer going to accept about your work. You're going to finally let go of that, and you're going to pursue what it is you want. If you want to actually see this eclipse on a practical level, you can in North America, if you're on the East Coast, in South America, anywhere, in Western and Central Europe, and also in Western Africa. So that's really going to be hugely liberating. So really ask yourself the tough questions during the month, because by the time this full moon comes, it's almost like a flushing out. You can let these go once and for all. So if you have held the faulty belief that people don't like you, or your bosses never nurture you, or you can't speak in public, or you're not very good with detail, or any of the things that you think about yourself that really hold you back, look at them, ask them if they're true, and then detox them. Very liberating for you. Okay, and then finally at the end of the month, on the 30th, there's a grand trine in Earth, and that really allows you to, this is after that detox process, and that sees you hitting the ground running and really taking practical action and having a renewed hope. So this is really, you know, you roll up your sleeves and you say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do now. And that's really wonderful. So it looks like a very, 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 very productive month for you, Scorpio. I hope you have a wonderful September. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you'll see the types of readings that I offer. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to like me on Facebook, you can find the page by going to facebook.com/GregoryScott444. Have a great month, and I'll speak to you soon.